She pressed the gas and her tires spun right across my grass, ripping out green patches like they were nothing. I was standing on my porch, coffee in hand, watching her white SUV cut through my yard again. She leaned her head out the window, sunglasses on, and shouted, "It's a shortcut, deal with it." My fists clenched, but I didn't say a word. Last week, I'd already tried talking to her. She laughed in my face and said, "This is HOA property, not yours. You don't own anything here." That's when I knew she wasn't just careless. She was cruel. The next morning, she taped a paper on my front door, stamped with some fake HOA logo, saying, "Violations, lawn not maintained. Driveway blocked. Fines will apply." I tore it down, but my little boy saw it first. He looked at me with worried eyes. "Dad, are we in trouble? Are they gonna take our house?" My chest tightened, but I kept my voice calm. "No one's taking anything from us." Inside, though, I was boiling. By the third time she drove across my yard, I decided to stop being nice. She thought I was just some regular guy. She didn't know the truth about me. I spent years overseas, trained to handle situations far worse than a smug neighbor in sunglasses. I'd already made a plan. One she would never see coming. Because the next time her SUV touched my lawn, something under the grass would change everything. That evening, I walked the lawn with a shovel, acting like I was just fixing sprinkler lines. But I wasn't fixing anything, I was burying something. Thin steel spikes, sharpened and hidden just under the soil where her tires always cut across. Anyone walking would be safe, but a heavy SUV. Different story. My boy peeked out the window, whispering, "Dad, what are you doing?" I smiled at him. "Protecting what's ours." He didn't ask more, but I saw the relief in his eyes. The next day came faster than I expected. I heard the familiar growl of her engine before I even stepped outside. She swung her SUV wide, laughing as her wheels rolled straight into my grass again. But then, thunk, hiss. The sound of air exploding out of her tires filled the street. She slammed the brakes, her car tilting slightly as the back tire shredded. She jumped out, screaming, "What did you do?" Neighbors started peeking through their blinds, some even coming outside. I stayed calm on my porch, sipping my coffee. "Ma'am, looks like you've got a flat." Her face turned red, eyes burning holes through me. "You're going to pay for this. I'll have the HOA fine you and the cops arrest you by tonight." I almost laughed. If only she knew who the real cops in this town trusted. Because what she didn't know was, I still had my badge locked away in a drawer inside. And I wasn't just some random homeowner. I was the sheriff who trained half the deputies she was threatening to call. And when the truth came out, she wouldn't be the one pressing charges. She stomped up my driveway, waving her phone like a weapon. "I'm calling the police right now. You're going to jail for destroying my car." Her voice cracked, but she kept it loud so every neighbor could hear. A couple across the street whispered to each other, one of them even recording on their phone. I leaned on the porch rail, steady and calm. "Go ahead. Call them." She smirked, pressing the screen. "You think I'm bluffing? I've got connections. My cousin works with the city." "You're finished." She started shouting into the phone, "Yes. There's a violent man damaging HOA property. He's threatening me. Send officers fast." She glanced at me with a smug grin, like she'd already won. Within minutes, a black SUV with flashing lights pulled up. But something was off, the uniforms didn't match our county's department. Two men stepped out, belts half empty, no badges shining. They tried to look official, but I knew better. Fake cops. She had actually brought fake cops onto my land. One of them barked, "Sir, step down from the porch. Hands where we can see them." My neighbors gasped, some pulling out phones to record. My son clutched the window curtain, terrified. I raised my hands slowly, playing along. But inside, I was already smiling. Because the second I opened my mouth, everything would flip. I stepped off the porch slowly, keeping my hands up. The fake cop closest to me puffed his chest, trying to look tough. You're under arrest for harassment and property damage, he barked. Karen folded her arms, smirking like she'd finally broken me. That's when I spoke, calm and steady, funny. Because I am the law in this county. The men froze. What? I pulled my wallet from my back pocket, flipped it open, and held up the silver badge that had more weight than any of their fake threats. Gasps echoed around the street. Cameras zoomed in. My neighbors knew exactly what they were seeing, the real sheriff standing on his own land. Karen's smile collapsed. That's fake. Don't listen to him. She stammered, but her voice was trembling now. I turned the badge toward the fake officers. Impersonating law enforcement is a federal crime. So either you get back in your SUV and disappear before my deputies arrive, or you'll be wearing real cuffs in about 5 minutes. The taller one cursed under his breath and nudged the other. Without another word, they scrambled back into their vehicle and sped off, no lights, no sirens. Just gone. Karen's face went pale as the crowd of neighbors closed in with their phones raised. One woman shouted, "You called fake cops. You could have gotten him killed." I stepped closer to Karen, lowering my voice so only she could hear. "You tried to ruin me. But you picked the wrong men, on the wrong land." She backed away, trembling now, but I wasn't done. Because the real squad cars were already on their way. And this time, they weren't coming for me. Red and blue lights finally filled the street. This time real deputies stepping out. Hands steady on their belts. The crowd stayed silent, waiting to see who they'd believe. Karen straightened her shoulders, pointing at me like she was still in control. "That's him. Arrest him. He destroyed my car and threatened me." My lead deputy, a man I personally trained, glanced at me, then at her, and asked flatly, "Ma'am, is this your property?" Her voice cracked. "And no, but the HOA gives me authority." "Wrong," he cut her off. "We've had multiple calls about your harassment. And impersonating officers? That's a felony." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Karen's eyes darted from phone to phone, realizing every second was being recorded. "This is a mistake. I'm the victim here." She shrieked, but the cuffs clicked around her wrists before she could finish. My boy finally ran outside, grabbing my hand tight. His small voice carried further than he knew, "Dad. Are we safe now?" I looked down at him, then at the neighbors who were clapping, cheering, some even chanting, "Justice." The weight of it all hit me. We're safe. Nobody's taking our home. As Karen was guided into the squad car, one of the deputies turned back. "Sheriff, you want us to book her for trespassing, impersonation, or both?" I didn't hesitate. Both. Let her explain to a judge why she thought she owned land that wasn't hers. The car door slammed, her screams muffled behind glass. The SUV pulled away, and the street seemed to breathe again. I lifted my son into my arms and whispered, "More for the crowd than for him. I didn't serve this country to be told I can't stand on my own land. Not then, not now, not ever." And with that, the story ended the way it should, justice served. Family safe, and freedom protected.